I've always felt different. I've always seen things, but when I tried to express them as a child, I was always told to ignore it.
There were people that I didn't know that came to me and said, I have this message that I keep getting that I have to deliver to you.
All of a sudden, out of the shadows, a homeless man just jumped right in front of me. And he said, I'm a soul just like you.
I love it.
I wanted to understand the universe and who and what we are and what are we doing here.
We're all part of this amazing soul wave tapping into each other.
This was a major life changer.
You are a light. You have helped me a ton. Thank you.
You've given me the courage to live more from my soul.
Millions of people are awakening. So wake up with Michele Meiché, the place to hear the best-selling authors and experts in the fields of cutting-edge self-help, personal growth, metaphysics, and spirituality. The soul path of awakening. Understand what living awake is.
Hello, Radiant Soul Lights. Welcome. If you're new here, good to connect with you. And all of you that are tried and true and been here for a while, you know I love you. It's always great to connect with all of you here on the Soul Path. If you're new, I'm Michele. Great to connect. Glad that you surfed in, connected in. I see Bailey in the chat. Who else? Good afternoon. Hello, hello. So, going to be diving in the whole show. Very excited for today because I did extra work today, or early morning, with the guides. So I'm going to be getting into that. Please call in. Also say hi, get a reading. Hi, Isabella, Bailey Ann, good to see you. Yeah, if you would call in, that would be great. I'd like to connect with everyone today and see how you are also doing. So other ways to connect with me is obviously here. Get a subscription, join the live stream. We're here every Wednesday, 12 p.m. Pacific time. You can connect with me on Awakenings with Michele Meiché on YouTube, Soul Insights and Tarot on YouTube. We have a Soul Path Awakening group on Patreon, Soul Study. We do a lot of esoteric deep work there as well. There's many tiers. There's a free tier as well, so you can connect in. And in fact, if you sign up, we did a spring equinox gathering, and I gave some messages from the guides, some psychic guidance, channel guidance predictions, and a focus on what we need to be doing now, as well as a deep inner plane journey and meditation process. So you can go listen to that. You just go to Patreon. You can just put my name in, Michele Meiché, and I will come up. And you can even get it on the free tier. So just sign up and start doing that process. It really helps because we're really moving more into that space of intuition, connecting more into our intuition and letting that part guide us. So if you have any questions, comments, call in or put it in the chat. So one of the things I wanted to connect it's just so interesting how everything works. And just when you perhaps have a little doubt, or you don't see progress, or you don't see or feel the magic, we call it metaphysically, things get a little dry sometimes, or you're being so guided and things are in a flow that it's all good, but you need a little tickle, a little spark, like I like to say. So early this morning, I and actually was prompted by some videos, because I've been wanting to reconnect with the guides in the way that I did years ago when my big awakening happened, when I started for those of you that don't know, I had a whole different career in life. Well, I've always been psychic, so I was doing some readings and doing healing work and studying metaphysics and astrology and really deep, on my path. And really studying and learning. But I was doing readings, but I was also modeling and acting, and actually doing a lot with volunteer work and stuff like that. I had a very full life, and then everything just kind of stalled, opened. A lot of space happened. Is that happening for you right now? There was just this space, and I remember I got two things happened. I started getting these visions, and then people from all around the world would call me and it spread like wildfire. I mean, for a good year, maybe like 18 months, and pretty much all I did, thank God I had money saved, and I did some work here and there, but I was just doing readings, just answering the phone and just getting messages from the guides, and, oh, this person's going to come and this is what they're going through, and tell them this, or that person's coming, or somebody would come, and then the next day I'd get information between 3 and 5 a.m. So I was kind of savoring that and going, God, I would love to have that happen again. So last night, early this morning, and I totally connected into the channel of light, the Shushumna, that rainbow bridge, that light, funnel of light, that column of light through the center of the body, through the Earth Star chakra, up through the higher self, the Soul Star chakra, that light from it that connects us and goes into the transpersonal chakras, or upper realms, or dimensions. And I started getting all this information, and the guides were saying, you need to tell people, put your predictions out more. Because I did. I put my predictions out, but what happened is, some of you know this already, YouTube banned the videos, even though everything that I predicted ended up happening. I mean, everything, and more to come. So I got information for till about 2050. So I thought, oh God, I got to do this. I got to list it out. And I have plenty of people that I talked about, even though like I said, the videos were taken down on YouTube. But I told so many people, because I help guide people through this. So when I see the trend, I help guide people like, okay, this is a better business deal. This is a better investment. This is what you're meant to do. This is what's happening in the world. This is the next thing. So I'm guiding, various people. And of course, I guide people through on Patreon, and I weave as much as I can in on the pick a card. So I'm doing it in a lot of different, ways, but apparently the guides want me to do it a bit more. So I had a flash of a great mentee, client, student, but also very intuitive herself, and also hypnotherapist, and it does a lot of predictions on YouTube. And two people flashed, like, okay, just have them do it, give them the info. And so this morning after my meditation, actually, it's really cool. Have you guys been experiencing that so much other dimensional living right now, especially through the dream state? So I've been doing also a lot of other dimensional work and visiting other aspects of me, other dimensional aspects. We all have that. We're not just living out this, aspect, or just on the earth plane. So after my meditation, after I write everything down, I take notes, do my meditation, went back to sleep for a little bit, got up, meditated again, and then I go to my email, and boom, there's an email. I don't know if it's your guides or my guides, but I got this message that we need to bring you back on the podcast. And this is a list of questions for what are the changes, on the earth plane, what's coming up. Because I was talking to this person about censorship and what's happening with the economy and this kind of stuff a few days ago. And I was like, oh my God, she was in my dream. And just as I said that, the guides started laughing. It was like this leprechaun trickster, like, we got you, girl. You're not doing it all on your own. We got you. We got you. Don't worry. And I was like, oh my God. So I left her, this person, Jill, I left her a voice note saying, oh my God, it's your guides, my guide. They're connected, because this is what I received to do. And I was going to email you, and this other person, and do this. So we had a laugh or a chuckle. That was about this, that was happening this morning. Then I sent a cute little doggy with a snake, a little Yorkshire Terrier with a little, plushy toy snake, but a really long, like it's like a little toy terrier, like 4 pounds or something, and then had this long, I don't know, like 2 foot, 3 foot plushy snake in their mouth. That's why I love Yorkies. I love all dogs, all animal beings, really. There's some insects I'm not so fond of, but anyway, that's a whole nother story. So I send the snake to her, And she sends DMs me back and says, oh my God, I was dreaming about snakes all night. And I go, oh, well, here's another one for you. So I'm sharing this because we are always so guided, and we do get what we need and and to some degree want. It's just you have to start paying attention. So my goal is to really, really help with that more and more and more. Okay, I've been doing it already, but I'm getting the guidance. In fact, I talked to people. Let's see, where was it? I think it was on the spring equinox gathering. And again, just sign up for my Patreon, the free tier. You can, watch that. But I've really been getting, there's some offerings I'm going to be bringing back to help people on this, because the changes that are coming up are going to create a lot more noise. It's going to become very choppy. But if you are connecting into your intuition and you have the milestones or the markers, and that's what I seem to be doing with the people I'm working with, they're like, oh, Michelle's predicted this already and said this would happen, so I'm not scared. I'm going to keep going on. And that's kind of what I'm doing, gang. That's a big part of what I'm doing, is I'm giving you, I mean, honestly, even being as psychic as I am and how long I've been doing this and the accuracy, I mean, I'm about 98% accurate. I was tested at one point. Yeah, that's pretty high at 97, 98%. That's pretty high up there. But I still had doubts, and I can't quite explain it, but I still had a bit of fear. Like, am I going to be okay? Is everything going to be okay? But that changed, and I kind of think that, like, some of these world predictions that I've made, or earth predictions, even earthquakes, I mean, it's just all kinds, 9/11, the pandemic, the passports, the 3G city. I mean, I could go on, and I will. I'm going to put it all down so that people can tap into it. There is a video on Patreon, or two videos. I'm leery to put it on. I think I did put one on Rumble. I'm leery to put them on YouTube because, even though everything happened, the accuracy was there and it was exactly what was happening. Obviously, they pulled it down because, they don't want this information out. But something shifted for me when my clients in 2020 and between 2020 and 24. Oh, Sue, yes, yes, we missed you. But you can get there's a meditation process, so you can do that, and some information from the guides if you listen to the replay. But I got to tell you, there's something that keeps you in that magic and mystery when you make predictions or you get visions and they come through and they manifest. And when all that stuff that was happening between 2020 and 2024, but 2020, when I saw the National Guard, everything that I saw in my visions, and I was on my cell phone, and my friends were like, Michelle, go home, go home. And there's guards everywhere, and these kind of Hummer trucks, and I'm walking around, taking it all in, going, oh my God, this is exactly what I saw happening. And then I get messages from friends of mine and clients around the world saying, oh my God, Michelle, you're right. I especially in South America, they're like, we can only go out for a couple hours, or I had to go in quarantine, or we had to have this, special visa to travel. We had to have this vaccine passport, and it was all happening. And then I'm getting clients saying, oh my God, Michelle, you were right. You were so accurate. I'm glad I listened to you. I did this, I did that. I prepared, I this and that. Or I hear people saying, I'm kind of calm. I'm a little scared, but I'm kind of calm because you said this would happen and you didn't see, disaster. I keep telling people, Mad Max Thunderdome is not coming, guys. So at least I haven't received that vision or prediction from the guides, and people saying, I feel like I know what I meant to do, or even though it's a little scary because uncertain, and I'm having more of these conversations, and I want to bring them online with, this this talking, because you're going to find, okay, somebody said something about, what do you get with the cloak of consciousness that company, and I was wearing it. Well, we have a veil that blocks consciousness, or there's a new consciousness that we can wear or take on, but the cloak is leaving, or the veil. So you could be tapping into that. Sue, is that you in the chat asking that question? You guys can call it as well. Anyway, I want to bring, not solstice, equinox, spring equinox. Yeah. So we need to have these conversations because we confirm for each other what is going on and where you are in the process, not just of your awakening and awakening more to your soul, and the soul leading and guiding through the frequency of the higher self, but what you're meant to do, and also what is going on around you. That's a key. You have to know. It's like you get signposts as to what's happening or what's going on. That's the divination, the divining. And you're going to have to do that more and more, because it's going to get noisier as this extremes of polarity are kind of getting, more fixed. They're both getting very fixed but loosened. And I'm reaching out to the third wave visionaries. Those are the people, and it got confirmed last night. We're creating a third way. And I had a great conversation with a dear friend of mine. She's been a client for many, many, many years. And she's doing great stuff in the world, empowering. And we had the last 3 days situation going on, dreams, messages. And I'm like, we don't fit in to the left or the right. We don't fit in to the black or the white or whatever's opposite, to red and blue or whatever. Yeah, there's a third wave. So if you're not fitting in, it's because you're creating the new way. You have the new messaging. You've downloaded enough of the new emerging consciousness, or encoded with that. And so you're not going to want to get in, to a lot of conflict. You're clearing the conflict within yourself and in your life. And so we have to start following the signs as to where you're guided, because it's going to be so magical, so amazing. It's like, think of an oasis in the middle of the desert, where there's the respite, the oasis in the storm. That will be there. You will have a respite. Hey, Bailey is online. Hey, Bailey.
Hi.
Hello. Hi, love. Good to see you. Connect with your energy.
Oh, so nice. I had a little bit of a freaky dream last night, and you were in it.
Let me tell you, I was got very little sleep. I was, what you may say, lucid dreaming, visions.
Oh my
I was
goodness.
visiting people. I was on different dimensional levels. I've been doing that lately.
Whoa.
Some of them are old dreams that I've had that are recurring during different stages, but some of them are astral travels. And so it doesn't tell me, Bailey,
Okay.
because
well, it kind of made me, it scared me, but also I have a cold, and so I know I've been recovering, and so I was wondering, maybe that's what made it more scary. But
no. And what's weird, I've had some weird, like, I did not quite get sick, but sort of like a little COVID-y, cold ear thing, like an ear, like my left ear, not, kind of, I don't know, swollen. It's not, doesn't feel infected, but no, I've been fine. I feel fine, but it's been weird, like symptoms, not quite getting sick, but almost. I'm feeling a lot better now.
Oh, good.
So who knows? Maybe you're cleansing and clearing. But what was going on?
Okay, so you pretty much okay. So you knew that something bad was going to happen, and so you had told me there's I'm like nervous to say this all out loud because it freaked me out. You had, like, I don't know if it was a client or a disgruntled person. You knew they were going to come and that they wanted to harm people and harm you. And you told me how to get out of there with my daughter or my daughters safely and staying neutral, so that I didn't aggravate the situation and so that we were able to get out of there safely. And then it happens, and then we get out there safely. But I was freaked out because you didn't get out of there safely. And it scared me a little bit, but then I'm like, okay, maybe like fever dream or, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it does like make a lot of sense, like for your guidance for me. Like you have really given me so many like tools to move out of things more neutral than being in an activated state.
Mm-hmm.
And that does feel more safe in my body.
Oh, good, Bailey. Good. Because we have to feel safe for this next level in our body. Because with the new emerging, it has to come through us, our cells, our muscles, tissues, fibers, to be encoded and the next cells replicated. So it's a DNA shift also. So my sense with that is you're processing fear and why you might perceive I didn't get out safely because, I mean, I didn't feel any harm. So maybe it's kind of ties in what I was saying earlier. This, now I'm not saying I don't have a little fear moment here and there about what I see coming up or what's going on. But for the most part, I kind of just feel like it's like faith over fear. So you might be picking up that. Like I feel very like, not like, because I don't believe in things like, well, nothing will happen to me, God's protecting me. No, I just feel like whatever's going to happen, I'll be okay. Because because if we get into that, it's like, well, why does one thing happen to one person and not another person? It's like, no, it's not that God favors one person, because God, all that is, the quantum field, you know, I'm looking from that metaphysically and, you know, from a theosophical level, God, and, you know, more of a esoteric or occult. Because all that is, you know, I'll share one thing with you. I had a conversation with someone, a client that was very triggered, and I get it. People like to say, well, these people are going through this or that. So there's a weird thing when you get the metaphysical understanding or theosophical or, you know, the occult, the metaphysical, that everything on the planet is here by vibrational frequency and resonance and played out. And so our soul has chosen these situations. Yeah. So even though, and, you know, so some people say, and this person, I said, well, you need to follow your intuition. I gave them some input of what's coming up for them and where they're going, this and that. And I said, well, you know, in the healing and following what you're meant to do for your path. Anyway, what I was saying, and then they said, well, the people in Iran would like that too. And they don't have that luxury, you know, or Gaza or Israel or, you know, but on the metaphysical level, their soul chose that. It's a hard thing on a human level, because I look around and I said, you know, there's things that I wish you know, why did somebody else get something and I got something else? You know, why was I drawn into spirituality and metaphysics and gave up a very lucrative career and didn't follow that? And now I see the people that follow the lucrative career, multimillionaires and billion, you know, and I'm like, but you see what I'm saying? But that wasn't my path. And so I know that's really hard because we have to connect into the empathy of the human part of us. But it's also what's really important for people to do. And your dream, I feel, was processing this. Most of the outrage happens because we're afraid for ourselves and we feel powerless. So we project it out into other people. Now, I'm going to say something that was said to me by a spiritual teacher, mentor. And it's profound. It's like, why, in the general you, not me, but you, everybody, why are you so arrogant to think that your life experience and how you're living and what you're going through is the better way? Snap, everyone, right?
Bye, ego. Bye.
Right? Like, okay, now, is the person feeling struggle and harm? Yes. So is the child that has cancer at 2 years old, or the person living on the street. But
Yeah.
what we're meant to do, whatever our soul, and it's even beyond conscious reasoning, it's a complex of vibrational frequencies that come together into the soul plan. It's like a living question and an answer from the universe or God getting to know itself. I mean, it's out there, guys. It's hard to totally understand and download, because we're having this earth, love, hate, warm, fuzzy, comfort, life. So it's hard to understand. But I do know in my travels, people that I've met, living on the street or having experiences that I'm like, I believe in oneness, but thank God I didn't get that life experience,
Yeah.
but they're making the best of it. Sometimes they have so much joy and so much love because they're tapped in. So, but think of it this way: every soul is a blueprint or design, and then from that, like a complex of vibrational frequency. So if I'm like a symphony, if I'm putting this note and this instrument and I'm putting everything together, and it makes this design, and then in this design is a map, and there's preferences, and there's a way through the path that's in that design, right? That design gets lived out, and that's what happens on the earth plane. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's out there.
I try to reason with myself. I feel safe in my body right now. And well, actually there are parts of me that have been triggered just by an influx of information. So I know what to do now is not look at that information so much and consume that.
Yeah, I just did a post, and I think you're on my Patreon about this. The bandwidth. This is such an important post, gang. And I think it's on for all tiers. Because, and yes, there is a little oppositional or big oppositional force, whether that manifests, governmentally and also within us. Yes, but you have to process it. So you had the fear coming up, right, in the dream, and things weren't going to be, but the messages you got through it.
Yeah.
So right now is the time to process a lot of fear and bring it up and go, God, I fear being alone, or I won't make it, or this, or the money, or what's happening in the world. You process it, because see, even if you're not watching it, everyone, even if you're not watching or hearing it, you're picking it up subconsciously through the vibes. This fear, of uncertainty. So you have to process it, journal about it, do my projection perception 5-step emotional clearing process. You get on my website, get on Patreon. And then what you want to do, now you move into a bit of conscious creation. You go, okay, what do I want to reinforce in my life? Put something else on. I did it last night, and then I pulled the guides in because I was watching certain things. I love my true crime stuff.
Yeah.
But I watched something and I said, oh shit, Michelle, you shouldn't have watched this close to night, because now I'm dreaming where she is. I'm like the police, the FBI police chief, and I'm like, it's so scary. Why do people do that? And I'm like all in my head, and then fear coming up. So I went, okay, you better tune in, meditate. You better watch some stuff that taps you into spirituality and the guides, and because so I did that. So now you have to consciously bring in, everyone needs to have positive triggers, gang. Find your positive triggers, right?
After you said that,
doing it?
I did it. And it was
you did?
huge.
Oh, tell me.
It was it's a huge list of positive triggers. It's many more than I could ever offhand think of negative triggers,
Oh my God.
It was a huge list, and I'm just like laughing while I'm doing it, and I'm like, this is freaking amazing. And so I go to like kind of like a support group, and I brought it up there, and people came up to me after, and they're like, oh, I'm excited about that. I'm like, me too. It was a huge list. You can do it too. It was
I love that.
It was amazing. It's a huge list. I have it in my book over here. I have so many positive triggers.
Now, are you using them? Are you integrating them?
That's exactly. So now I post them on the fridge, I guess, so that I see it.
Yeah, post them and then do actions that create positive triggers. Like
Actions.
it could be
Yeah.
licensing. It could be like there's certain places I walk, positive trigger. Certain places I go, even if I feel off, there's an amazing bougainvillea bush that I have in my around my house, and these birds and squirrels. I look at
Oh,
that. Boom. Certain
yeah,
places I go to get a tea or a coffee. Boom. Certain music. Boom. Pick a
exactly.
card. Boom. Yeah. Start.
There's so many
Yeah.
positive triggers. Okay. All right.
Now,
Action. It's
Bailey,
action.
you brought up a good point, and I want to expound on this.
Mm-hmm.
Do you notice and this is how lower vibrational situations, unfortunately, in people work. I hate to say this. Well, I don't hate to say it, but let me get on my soapbox here. No one talks about positive triggers. No one
Nobody.
talks about positive shadow material. But if you've studied psychology, the shadow material is just what you're not aware of and have not integrated into your psyche.
Mm-hmm.
It's not negative. It's not, oh, you're angry or you're fearful, and so that's your you need to do shadow work. How many times people, oh, you need to do shadow work, you need to do
Mm-hmm.
shadow work, like there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Shadow work, it could be all of a sudden you're like so triggered, because you're so triggered by someone's music or their music ability. And I got that the other day on TikTok. I don't know who this guy is. I got to try to find him. He did this. Oh my God, you guys. This amazing sound, tone, frequency.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. I've got to see if I can get him back in my algorithm. He's real deal. I was like, I totally went ping. I was like, but I got triggered and I was like oh, look what he's doing. And I'm like, oh my God, I love that. I go, I used to do some stuff like this. I should play around again with, that's my shadow. The shadow lit me. Now, am I going to be total DJ, musician, music producer? No, because I don't have that ability or time to focus on it. But the shadow for me is I can do it in my way, in my way, or like my collage art.
That
I got to
is
download.
so
Anybody last night? I got to
crazy.
download to make this mortal coil, this collage art. I had this whole vision early this morning after the guides came through me, and they said, basically I realized you got to get back to your art. Now, am I doing, Banksy or other artists, and, people, who knows, maybe people will love it and come around the world, but that's not, but the shadow says, look, you have this gift too.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm not like, Doja Cat or Sia, you know what I mean? Okay, but do my own little thing, so that's the shadow. So the shadow isn't just what holds us back or negative. It's this is so important. It's what we're not yet aware of. We get little hits. And it could be through irritation, jealousy, anger, aha. It could be through being inspired or admiring someone. Like if someone's listening to me and going, oh, Michelle's so psychic. Oh my God, she's so tuned in. Guess what? You are too. You're getting triggered. Like, okay, how are you like that? How can you tap into that part of you?
Totally.
Right?
I can't think of another word. Just completely and totally.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So we got to bring in the other, because it just kind of pisses me off in a way. It really ticks me off that there's so much it's so lopsided.
It is.
Right?
It
It's like
is. I always
negative triggers. I'm triggered. And so everybody thinks a
Yeah.
trigger is always something negative, which also makes people not take responsibility or accountability, which is the whole Aquarian age. Pluto and Aquarius is like, hey, I have some of that too. It doesn't have to be I have the negative thing. I'm a victim too, or that mean thing happened, that trauma happened to me. Everybody wants the trauma, getting triggered in the shadow. Oh, I have that too. That's my trauma. That's my, trauma bonding too. That happened to me. Well, guys, what about what happened to you that you overcame something and snapped out of it or became a little more happy or successful in your life?
Yeah,
Why can't we have that one?
totally. I always thought I
Right?
was something that needed to be fixed. But
Yeah.
but like now I'm like, I am okay just like this.
Yes, baby.
And
Ooh,
I
I
can
love
keep
that.
living like that. That's so
Yeah.
it's such a new concept this year is that I'm not to be fixed.
No.
I'm not unworthy. I am me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
What's
really
that thing?
resonates with all this stuff.
It's a type of art, and it's also philosophy. I think it's Asian, Eastern, might be Japanese, and where they leave a crack, or they make pottery, and they
Yes.
leave a crack because that imperfection is perfection, and that's where the light. There's that saying, the crack is where the light comes in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Think about this, gang.
I
The
love that.
darker, if you go into a little closet, let's say 6 by 8 feet, and you turn on a light, that's how much light you have. If you go into a warehouse and it's dark and turn on a light, and I don't mean it by necessarily negativity, but like in the void, a lot of darkness within you that starts pinging, that starts opening, and then your potential for a lot of light is there. The transformative element in your life creates much more light.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're all lightening up. Bailey, I love what you're doing.
I love what you're doing.
Thank you. Now, why am I feeling writing around you? And also art. I feel like you could be doing some art for some
Oh my
reason.
gosh.
Is that
Writing,
true?
all of my things. You say book. I always said,
Yeah.
oh,
What
I
about?
don't want to do a book. I want to do a book, but there's, to say, and my hand has been, I got surgery on my hand, and it's working a lot better, and I can write now.
Oh, good.
And then there was these imperfections on my purse. My silly dog peed on it when I left for a little too long. And I had to
Oh, you know
wash
what's
my
so funny? I was
purse.
going to ask you, wait a minute, what's going on? Because I was going to ask you earlier, and then I
Yeah.
wrote it down. I felt a dog around you. What about your dog?
Oh my gosh. They're my
Your dog
babies.
has messages for you.
She's talking to me. She's good at communicating.
Get out of the house more.
Yeah.
And go out and explore, adventure.
Yeah. I want to. I'm gonna. Action.
Why can't you?
Today I said, oh, I should go up to that mountain that I went to when I listened to you last time live. And I said, I really don't feel good. I should rest. But I've kind of just been laying here wobbling around. So my body already knew earlier that it wanted to do that.
Well, I think you
So I
need, it
want to
doesn't
learn to
have to be a
listen.
big deal, whether a walk or in the car, and bring your dog. And they're trying to get you, they're kind of pissy at you, trying to get your attention.
They are.
Yeah.
And I'm going online so much.
Oh yeah, that's why
on my phone. They want to.
It's actually, they're kind of your, what we call familiar,
Oh,
aspects of
definitely.
you.
I can
Yes,
feel it. It's very strong.
But here's the thing: you got to get a little book or booklet, a little sketch, even if you're doodling.
I love doodling.
Oh, you do? Okay,
I love
doodle
art.
and art. Well, that's what I'm seeing with you. I feel like you are meant, I don't know if it's sketching or something, but the doodles, and then there's going to be like a sentence or two that comes out. But no, follow your doodles, color them in. In fact, you
Oh
have
my
someone
gosh. I know
follow
exactly what
them
you're
in.
talking about.
Yes, you got to start that now.
I have those in my house.
Okay, you're the artist.
That is my happy place.
I was going to say Sue does this art, and now she's calling in. Sue,
It's the doodling. It's the doodling and drawing in and painting and going outside with the dogs.
You got to do, but the thing is,
what?
You're really good. No, you have to start doing it and then offering it online. I even see some cups with like this doodle, abstract art.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. I want to show you.
I know, you've got to start doing. And now Sue
I know
online.
exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, Bailey, listen, Sue, both of you are doing something, not the same, but there's yours is this doodle
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Sue's
like
doing
doodling.
something.
It's
What
called
is yours
Zen.
like, Sue?
It's
What is it?
Zentangle. It's called Zentangle, and there's a website, zentangle.com. And I can see her doing bigger abstracts, with it.
Right?
Larger, yeah.
I
Well,
have
I'm
one.
Finley, you gotta start. Get
I
those
have one
suckers
of
out there.
that's so crazy.
And
That's
Instagram,
so
post
crazy.
them. No, start today.
Yeah.
Okay, I have them. I did this. I had it. And where is it? It's somewhere around here. I did a huge, it's big as me.
Oh, there you go. See, I saw something bigger on her. Yeah.
And I feel so
you
much
did,
joy
Sue. That's
when
right.
I
You
do
just
it.
said that.
No way.
Oh. Snap, Michael.
Snap, snap,
Oh my
snap, snap. That I just jumped right off that bed.
There you go.
Well,
I'm
here's
like
the thing.
elated
Last
right
night I
now.
was getting the message because I forgot a lot of training I had at White Eagle Lodge, the Theosophical Society, and doing all these deep trance work and light, which maybe I'm going to do this one that I learned at White Eagle Lodge for everyone at some on Patreon. Maybe I'll, like I did the spring equinox. But they're like, Michelle, it's time to bring this piece in. You're missing this. And I thought, oh my God, I forgot. Guys, the transformative element, the higher vibrational frequency energy of us, and it comes through art, music, literature, writing.
The Zen.
The soul is all that
takes you to the Zen. Yeah.
Yes. But in the earth plane, the fastest way to create the transformative element vibrationally is through the word, art, music, the doodle, whatever you want to call it. So artists are neat. That's part of the third wave of visionaries. Your vision, the vibrational frequency of the higher consciousness, this white third wave energy, the new emerging consciousness is coming through you guys through your art.
This is blowing my mind.
Yeah, come on, gang. We're waiting for you.
It's expanding your mind.
Oh my God.
Art, I'm still at stick figures. It's not coming from my art.
That's okay.
No, I know it's okay. I like it, but that's not the trend. That's not my gift. No, but we need the artists right now. We need the visionaries, the artists, the creatives.
And what's interesting, you say stick people, that's where I've been at. And with this Zentangle, I've noticed taking that, expanding that, starting, it's lines and circles and all different things.
Well, maybe I'm going to try that then. Because the guide showed me this collage art, which I do collage art. But they gave me this art and they said, you got to go back to this and getting this big sketch pad. I did a little bit around December. I did some collaging.
I have to show you, Michelle, somehow.
Do you? Can you? Aren't you? You're on my Patreon. DM me.
Oh, okay.
Or Instagram,
I will.
or if you don't mind, either there, DM me there, or you can put it in the Instagram group.
Take a picture and upload it.
Okay, I will. Thank you
but I
so
want to
much.
see it on Instagram.
I can't believe
also,
it.
Sue.
Yeah,
Sue did this stuff that I picked up psychically. Remember, Sue? And then you're like, oh, I'm doing that already. And I was like, oh my God.
What?
Yeah, I really, I mean, there was like, I got to do this. Nothing got in my way. It's like,
oh, you guys. And here, I know, because Sue, you're also connected to the Tibetan and spiritual hierarchy. Okay. Last night, this thing I was watching, I'm telling you, it's for you guys. Because, okay, so they were saying, and I always loved Kandinsky, there was a whole movement, Rudolf Steiner, the Maria Montessori from, Italy, but went to India. All of these, even Jesus, everyone went east and got the deeper, information from the Vedas and everything. But there was a whole movement with the salon, and of course on Patreon I have every month the spiritualism and metaphysical salon, because I love that era. The salon, the artists, the mystics, everybody's getting together. But there was a whole movement. All those artists, Mondrian, Kandinsky, Scriabin, which I used to listen to his music, classical, years ago. I didn't even know this. All of these people did it through their art. So all that abstract art, which I would be drawn to, but I'm like, oh, anybody could do that. All the the triangles, the circles, geometric art. Okay, the art, the doodling, the geometrical art. I was just watching this last night, or early 3 a.m. 4 a.m. before did my work with the guides, was what it is. It's consciousness in the art. It's a transmission. So when they were doing all this kind of geometrical art, it was bypassing that local mind, rational mind or beta consciousness. And it was a whole movement of how can you have the spirit realm in, higher realms, the spirit through various levels of spiritual realm in art. So those forms, and the circle being very sacred, the triangle, and of course the square being the earth plane and stability. That's why they used a lot of those and lines for different vibrational frequencies manifesting. But it was all this whole artistic movement of the modern was based on spirituality and consciousness.
I'm glad you said that, because when I had that meditation and I had that cloak of consciousness on, I was out in the cosmos and stars everywhere. And then there were waves. I mean, it was whispers, but I could see waves of color moving through the stars and connecting to them. And it was kind of interesting because you could have easily done something like Zentangle with what I was seeing. And I didn't even
Well,
put
I
two
think
and
you're meant to do that. See, that's the whole idea. That's what Patreon's about. So we're meant to get in these transcendent states, just like the jazz musicians, which years ago, some of you that have been listening to this podcast for many years, if you might remember her, we had Sister Shri, who does mantra sound, very high level elite musician. She was first on when I was on Cosmic Dimensions Radio, and I was interviewing a lot of musicians, very high caliber musicians. And she worked with Coltrane. I didn't know, like Ann Coltrane, I think it was Ann Coltrane, was a metaphysician and had an ashram. And they all went to India. Now, some of them got into drugs. She didn't, but some, as a way of connecting in with the spirit realm or these transcendent experiences. So I learned from Sister Shri that when like the musicians would like and they just go off for like an hour, that they were in this journey, a spiritual journey. Like it was consciousness that playing a note, and then another one and another one goes whatever, the back and forth. That was all a play of consciousness. That was all spiritually, based. So, I just got to hit you guys. It makes so much sense. Oh my God. Okay. So, you know how a lot of information, like even right now, there's some information by certain teachers that are crossed over about the third wave and the third way, which by the way, I think, what was it? Hitler took some, just like he took the swastika, a lot of governments and cult leaders and whatever, they take these they're doing the same stuff to try to, do a life hack and, get better at something. So they're using that. But it makes sense because if you look online in some books, now the information is old because they didn't have the next wave of awareness, consciousness, life experience. Like they may not have saw rockets in the sky, right? Or planes or whatever. So the new emerging consciousness, this is why the guides in 2011 started tell people new forms are needed. So you guys, your art, okay, it's similar, right, to the geometrical art of that 19th, early 19th century, late 19th century, early 20th century, and even Egyptian art. But there wasn't the new emerging consciousness. So now we need the new books, new art forms that hold the frequency of the updated version, because the art is the transmission. You see?
So the
Wow.
frequencies are going to be higher than what they were.
Yeah, or
on the
just more.
geometric scale, you know, on the
Well,
geometric.
like here's an example. Like when I started learning about healing, and I got taught a certain healing technique, which I further then developed into what called pranic healing and bioenergy alignment. We were taught you had to, once you worked on someone, even at a distance, doing distance healing, you had to wash your hands up to your elbows with cold water, you know, just put cold to disengage, right? But all these years later, it's like, no, you can just shift your awareness because we're all interconnected anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or when I wrote my book, Meditation for Everyday Living, the first edition, I think was it 2007? No, the first edition, I think was in 2000 or 2003, 2004. And when I tuned in with the guides, they said, no, do shorter meditations. You don't have to. And I came from meditating 2.5 hours in the morning, 2.5 hours at night. You know, I came from this strict training of meditation and all different kinds. And they said, well, no, it's just a shift in consciousness. This is people's true nature or true state. If they want to meditate an hour, 2 hours, or 30, fine, but they should be able to get there 5 minutes, 3 seconds, you know. And so I call them activations. They were more soul alignment or activating alignment meditations where you just align or attune, alignment, attunement meditation, where you're just aligning or attuning to what's already there, that part of you. But people didn't do that 20, 30, 50, 100 years. It was like, oh, no, you need to do it for an hour every day. You know, now we know, and we have the science and the physics and metaphysics to back that up. So new information comes in. So our channel, you know, we learn more. It gets clear, the filtering. And that's why, like, the third wave, like, I know it's Dolores Cannon, and God love her, she did a lot of great work, but she also came through old filtering of what was available. So she wrote, and a lot of people have said, oh, well, the third wave is the Gen Z or whatever. And I'm like, no, it's not about, that's ego, that's human. It's about consciousness. So I don't care. A third wave visionary could be 85 years old or 5 years old. I don't know. It's about a frequency and a consciousness. So that's what I mean. Things get, just like we upgrade or update our computer, it could do more things now, or our phone. We're getting updated and upgraded as instruments of the soul, of channels, you know, of this divine, infinite, creative energy. And so we need to upgrade and update all systems, ways of relating pattern, books, MP3s, doodles, Zendesk, you know, everything. So you guys, you can't help it because you're already in the new frequency. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're already in that expanded frequency and consciousness. You're already channeling the new emerging consciousness. So whatever you write or draw or paint or put out there is going to have that frequency within it in that transmission. I hope that makes sense.
No, it does. It really does.
I love that. Who put this? My art is a form of healing and definitely a positive trigger.
That was Bailey.
Yeah, well, we need more of that. Yeah, we need more of those. We got enough of the negative, you know, so, or the perception of it, of the negative. So any other thoughts or questions? I love this, you guys. No wonder I got all that art. I mean, I was like, it was like full on visions. And then I was in this, guided to this temple where I meet the guides, and they were just showing me these vision, all this art. And they're like, you've got the artists, you got to get the artists, the communicators, the artists, the musicians. They've got to come out more. Got to put your stuff out there, gang. Bailey and Sue. You know. Oh, somebody saying aura, is that aura? I'm a visionary for helping people. I love that.
I got to go. I've got to get ready for my meditation bowl class. So,
oh, good. Okay.
Wonderful to hook up. I'll talk to you
Yes,
again
thank you for
soon.
calling in. I look forward to seeing you posting your Zendai. What are they called?
It's called Zen Tangle.
Zen Tangle. Yeah, your Zen Tangle. Yeah. Okay.
I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Talk to you later. Bye. Let's see. Did my phone go out? Guys, hello? Can you guys hear me? Bailey, can you hear me? I can hear you. Oh, good. Okay. Yes, we can hear you. Okay. Maybe it was Sue's. I just heard like this echo. How's my sound? How's my sound? How's the audio? Oh, good. Okay. That's weird. Okay. Thank you for letting me know that. All right, gang, call in with questions. And Bailey, if you have more, let me know. Okay, so how do we know what to do? Well, hopefully you're listening today and you're getting these messages and you're getting the kind of the positive trigger, the awakening trigger. You want to start right now looking at where you're reading the signs. Like, is it a dream? Is it listening to something, watching something, and then you're triggered? And like, if you're negatively triggered, that's your healing, your clearing. But it also may be a part of your soul path or purpose to connect with something, to help people in that particular way, or help yourself processing, moving through that so that you can get to what do you want to express? What do you want to, or how do you want to use your soul gifts or whatever has happened to you, that experience? How do you want to empower yourself and others? How do you want to optimize your life or other people's life? How do you want to pull, because we've got to get pulled out of it, the extremes of polarity that is focusing on the lack, the limitation, the scare, the victimization. We got enough of that in conscious awareness and in manifested form, right? The denser physical form, the physical material form. But in the spirit realm, the etheric, the akashic, the spirit realm, the realm of spirit or undifferentiated energy, there is the opposite that can become the complementary, and that moves us out of conflict into harmony. It's the harmonizing principle. So one of the things you're going to see, and I wanted to talk about how money, the creative collaborative economy, and how money is changing and how we use money and that whole idea of money. So money as a currency. So we all have this current that runs through the earth, the world, the universe. We are electromagnetic beings, right? We're an electromagnetic field, force field, or resonance light field, right? With this Rupert Sheldrake, morphogenic fields. We hold this, everything that's happened to us, to in life and to the world, and is in these resonant fields, is in the ethers, what we call the aspect of the ether realm, right? And so that's why I always love Ethernet, that whole idea of plugging into the internet or interweb, and you use an Ethernet. We used to back in the day. I mean, still do. Some people still do. Hardline cables. The best connection is through the Ethernet. And there's no mistake on why a lot of terms in the mundane world, everyday world, have a spiritual and metaphysical component to it, and that's the occult. The occult is defining that and discerning that through what's hidden. And so there's always this correspondence. That's that law of correspondence: as above, as so below, as within, as without. So you understand, there's this bank, but there's a bank within the universe. I actually did pick a card on that a year ago. It's a good one if you want to tap in what's available to you on Soul Insights and Tarot. Anyway, so you have this bank, and it's just this aggregating, the kind of a universal bank that we tap into. This is why, in truth, we don't create abundance or make abundance happen. We align to it. We attune to it. And when you learn to follow the signs, which are kind of markers, milestones, frequency, and resonance points, you're getting closer, or you're getting more attuned to something, or you're getting more aligned. You're getting more into the frequency of what you want, or the vibe or the energy of what it is that you want. And you can feel it, So it's like anything, it's like, it reminds me, like I grew up with a lot of surfers, and like they would feel something like, I'm going to go out early. And as soon as they're getting to the beach, or they're riding their bike with the board on the side, or, I'd be riding my bike with them, or in the car, if you could see the air, right? The sea air, the salt, getting closer to the beach, that wave, maybe they check the waves. And so you can feel it. So that's connecting in etherically, astrally, and therefore also emotionally. And what are the emotions? Energy and motion. This is why the stock market is based on emotion. It's not based on what's actually happening. It's based on what we think is going to happen, and most importantly, what we fear is going to happen. This is why we need that counterbalancing. So this whole idea of money or monetizing, whether it's cows or sheeps, whether it's stones, whether it's gold or silver, whether it's cowrie shells, there's always been this kind of updating of a system of exchange. And the exchange is an exchange of energy. I give this much energy in this service or this product or skill or something. I'm giving this much energy, and this is what I want back, right? I want, 7 sheep, 2 goats, a pig, and 5 bars of silver and 10 bars of gold. Okay, got it. So what represents that exchange is changing, is going to be changing. And I feel like the biggest change will be probably around 2028, 29. What it's going to be opening up, though, is different ways of receiving exchange. And that exchange will not just come from money or crypto or digital. It will come through people and resources more and more. What you might want to say, an exchange of energy, whether you want to call it bartering, or a higher frequency of that is collaboration. And kind of like how, if you heard the beginning of this live stream, when I was talking about, I had this dream to get the video out, do more of my predictions, and then I get an email that they'd had a dream about this too. And when I come back on their podcast and they had all these questions for me, that's the creative collaborative economy. We're getting something done together. We're creating, we're collaborating. We got the divine inspiration, in this case, through the higher self and our guides. Got the message from spirit and the guides. I'd gotten the message by working with the spiritual hierarchy, the oversouls. And then someone else got that message and reached out to me, right? I didn't tell them or reach out to them. So we have to understand ourselves also as not just separate beings. We individuate out, we separate out, but that we're tapping into this collective energy for a purpose. And that is happening through our auric field and through the etheric and astral. So the astral is kind of like the comms department. There's a lot of communication between the astral, Akasha too, which is the soul level, and spirit. But what is just in the imagination of the all that is, or vision, starts getting, fleshed out, starts getting a plan, a procedure, right around from the Akashic into the astral and etherically. So when things are in the etheric plane, they're about to pop off, they're about to be drawn in, attracted, or manifested, or realized from the spirit realm into that etheric. That's like a testing area. And it can happen, take a long time, or it can happen quickly, like it did, early this morning. So I got the email, I don't know, early morning, and I was in session with the guides, I guess around 3 to probably 5 a.m., 4 a.m. I was getting the downloads. And so that synchronistic, event came in. Oh my God, I don't know if it's my guides or your guides, but this is the message I got. And I was going to contact that person. I'm like, okay. So this is why we share with people, look, your higher self never sleeps. You're orchestrating things. Your denser physical body, right? The material aspect of you needs the sleep, needs rest, gets sick, gets, exhausted, gets inspired. That part, we have to take care of the physical. That's part of our instrument of the soul, the physical body, and the lower mind, the little mind. You got to take care of that part that gets worried and has circular thinking and just wants things to stay the same. You've got to have a clear divining system, as like you're this divining rod, to get your guidance, not from the ego you or the human you, because that's, that's just like in a way an empty container, but the divine you, the higher self, the soul, spirit, God, whatever. There's a seamless, and those of you that work, with guides, so you watch for that. So that is creative collaboration. So the collaborations and the bartering is an exchange of energy or coming together where you're doing more together than you can alone. It may or may not have money, gold, silver, crypto, digital units, or currency. More and more, we will have less of that. Not right away, and there's not like this big economy shift that just, X's everything out. But we're slowly moving in that direction because the way things are going and the changes that are happening planetarily, and they're on the way that humanity expresses itself, the focus, the game, the emphasis is changing, how we live and what's important. So what's changing is our definition also of what's success, what's fulfillment, what makes me feel safe. It may or may not be money. So the definition of what is exchange, what is a monetary exchange, and how important is that, that's changing, or what's available monetarily. And what you're going to start seeing, especially around 2029, 2030, is these different systems, these different ways of living based on what people are signing up for. And this will also manifest in different cities, countries, and states, moving apart or creating different communities or whole cities that are based on a certain way of living. You can kind of already see that separating out happen. So what does that mean? It means that you want to diversify yourself. You want to connect more with others, to create, to share, to collaborate. You want to put yourself out there more, because that's also a currency. When you're connecting with others, whether others respond to you or not, it doesn't matter. Whether you go, well, I hardly have any subscribers, or I hardly have any followers, it doesn't matter. That's not what's being read. What's being read is your vibrational frequency of living that way. That's what's contributing to the whole, to the change. The universe reads vibration, frequency, energy. So one individual healing, empowering, and living more soul attuned, aligned, connected, and living from that soul frequency, and it's aligning more to the soul and attuning to that soul and having these soul activations and these hits of inspiration is creating more change than any best-selling author or psychic or mystic or whatever, whatever your successful person externally, because it's all about consciousness. And even just last night, I didn't even realize Einstein was a theosophist. So we know this. Einstein talked about this, Jung, and of course we talk about it not only in metaphysics but in physics, and it's also that observer. Where I focus, there I am. I may not see something, but as soon as I observe it, then it's there. And we'd say metaphysically it's called into being, but it's always there. You're aligning to something and then activating it. Then, like we talked about earlier, it's the triggers, the life enhancing or optimizing triggers. Your triggers show you where to go, not what you need to change in the system or another person. That's going to happen. All change happens by individuals that then come together. Change does not happen systematically. It does not happen in group consciousness or group think. Change does not happen through the collective consciousness. It happens through individuals that start doing things differently. And that aggregates. That vision aggregates through a complex of vibrational frequency that come together that create something new. And that's a new vision, and that radiates out. People pick it up kind of intuitively, psychically, it doesn't matter. A trend, that's what a trend is. You see it all the time. Why am I drawn to this? And those beware of false trends that get advertised as this is what's next, this is what's cool. It may or may not be. Some of the predictions that I had that have been kind of stalled are these, but the guides didn't call them 5G cities, but later when I was sharing with clients and in group channelings, what I was shown, they're like, oh, people would send me links, go, oh, that's already happening, or that's starting, Michele, but there's been a delay on these. Okay, because there's government contracts with this in certain countries. They're going to happen. But the delays, when we have these delays in the chaos, this is why I'm saying don't get caught up in the chaos. Use it as creative energy. Use the delays. Use the uncertainty, the energy of the unknown. And again, we know this not just metaphysically, but through physics, that the void, the potential, is potential. When you see that darkness or the void, the cosmic or universal womb, it's not empty. In the unknown, in the uncertainty. So what happens when we have a lot of chaos and uncertainty? There's a lot of void energy. But when you start looking metaphysically and spiritually, you realize in that void is potential. There's still energy moving in the void. There's still light in the dark. Right? Out of the dark comes the light. And then you stop searching for the light. You become the light by tapping into your own light and the universal light of insight and awareness and inspiration. You become the light. You're no longer searching for the light because you understand you are the light. And the dark part of you, the void, is what's not yet revealed, what you don't know yet, what's coming through you. So then we have conversations. This is why I'm big on people calling in and saying things in the chat. It's join the conversation, keep the conversation going. You get triggered, bing, bing, bing. Ooh, that's what I'm supposed to do. Creative idea, go here. It's very much the art, the artist's way. It's very much the artist. It's the mystic. This is what I did love when I was modeling and acting. I loved going on set because everybody's doing their thing. Everybody, whether it was a commercial I was doing, a film, whatever, movie, whatever. It's like, okay, you do your thing. You interpret this way. And especially some of the things that I got in like magazines, Vogue, L'Officiel, Donut, I did a lot of catalog work, but there were certain artistic projects I got. And you get to interpret, wear this and interpret it. One time I did this whole series for this artist, for this, his show, but it was also in this museum in modern art museum in Chicago. And it was a whole thing on, our kind of mainstream culture and roles and gender and all this thing. And I had to be in this outfit, like this kind of shag rug. It was bizarre. I still have the picture. Maybe I'll post it on Patreon. Let me take a note. But I had to interpret, or when I was a dancer, I had to interpret the choreography, the music through the dance. When I taught school, I interpreted, the messaging, what the kids needed to learn in a way that engaged them. And then I interpreted what they gave to me or brought back to me, what I learned from them. They were interpreting what I was putting out. So to some degree, we're always interpreting the energy of our experience, our life experience, or what we're getting from our inner world, right? And we're putting it in some kind of form, whether we're verbalizing it through communication, a great conversation, a talk, what we're posting or sharing or creating, or our doodle art or Zentangle, whatever it is that you're doing in your world. But right now, we have to consciously do that and see that we are affecting change by doing that. And we know things like music and art and it goes beyond. It goes beyond that rational mind barrier of the ego, of the fear-based constructs of I don't understand you, or I don't know you. All of a sudden I got something, or I don't like you because you look different, or you have a different idea. We know that art and music transcends that, or any form of creative expression. And this is why a big part of those third wave visionaries are artists of some level, whether it's poetry, flowetry, or how you dress, how you live your life, how it's tapping into the infinite creative intelligence. It's a principle. It's a universal principle. When you're tapping into that energy the way that you are meant to and like to, and are there's a level of fulfillment. And in saying that, those that are speaking and relaying information, that's an artistic expression. But those that are putting it in words and forms and visions and pictures and paintings and graphics and doodles and graphic arts novels and whatever, you see it, anime, the form. So the forms are there, but we need new forms that hold the vibrational frequency and consciousness, right? Of this new consciousness, this new emerging. Because consciousness is not static, just like energy is not static. We're not static as electromagnetic resonating fields. So consciousness is always emerging, but what's happening now is there's a new emerging consciousness. It's different. There's something different in what's emerging through us as us. So we're always emerging. This is why when we focus too much on surface reality or surface identities, and this is why I really don't like identity politics and I'm a this, I'm a that, or when people say, oh, I'm a such and such artist, like a racial, ethnicity artist. I'm not going to point anybody out, or like a religion. It's like, no, you're more than that. That limits you. We can see that, or it can come up in a conversation. But when we put these limits, you're limiting you tapping into your infinite potential through the infinite creative intelligence of the all that is. You're then saying it has to come through this color or this way or this. You're saying, and that is going to change. We have a lot of that coming up right now, but I can tell you, in the new world, the new earth, the new world order, the new system, the new paradigm, that's not going to be there. That's not going to be a big deal. That's like me showing up at a gathering or party and so, well, as a person with, dark brown hair, and it's like, okay, got it, Michelle, I can see that. All right. Or I have a red tank top. As a person wearing a red tank top, this is what I see. It's like, oh, I kind of see you wearing a red tank top. People have to ask, why are you leading with that? What is your fear? You don't feel you belong everywhere? You're limiting your belonging? You belong everywhere in the world, in the universe, and on the earth because you're here. So that, yes, a lot of that's rising to the top and being over-focused because it's a way to keep people segregated and in fear, feeling less than and not empowered. It's saying you have to show up this way. You have to show up in this outfit. Imagine being told that. You got to show up in this outfit every single day. That's only what you get to wear. And everything you say has to be said through that outfit. I don't think people would like it, but that's essentially what's been happening. That cuts your currency. So the more you open up to the interconnectedness of the all that is, that doesn't mean you don't live out your preferences. That's the soul, has likes, dislikes, preferences. But the more you're tapping into that frequency through the higher self, you're extending, expanding. It's like looking, instead of out all the time, outer looking. What are other people doing? What are they saying? What's cool? Virtue signaling. Well, I believe this. I believe that. Who cares? Live it. Go within, connect in with your own light, and then express and experience through that. That taps you into that currency. That brings abundance. When you're in that abundant frequency, or frequency of abundance, you're aligning to that. It's the life-enhancing frequency of the earth plane and the universe. All of nature goes towards what is most life enhancing or optimizing. Now, humans, we stop ourselves from doing that because we get caught up in old mental constructs or beliefs or ideas, like we're going to cheat the system, or I'm fearful, so I'm going to believe this, or I'm going to do that. And that, when you get caught up in lower vibrational frequency belief systems or mental construct, then you're limiting your potential. You're limiting your connection to the infinite creative intelligence. And it's infinite creative intelligence of everything. It's what the seeds of what blossoms and blooms in nature, the plant. Everything is encoded with a particular blueprint. And so you want to connect in more with your soul blueprint. That gets you more currency. And so you kind of just know what to do, where to go, who to connect with. Look around and see what are you drawn to do? Who are you drawn to? What keeps showing up in your life? That's currency. You'll be okay no matter your circumstances you chose. Within your specific soul circumstances, you'll be able to navigate them better. So because how we are changing and what we perceive as valuable is changing, that is changing our monetary system. And stock market. I do predict that in just 2017, when I had all those predictions, it showed the government changing, that it's going to be more of like an international boardroom, right? The guides were telling me there's going to be the technologists and the naturalists, and some people will be kind of in between. But these technologists are going to be showing up, these representatives, and we'll have more representation, by the way. You can already kind of see it happening through social media. We will actually have more transparency of what's going on. But with that, just like as a psychic channel and a medium, there's a lot of things that I see and I predict, a lot of visions I have, a lot of psychic predictions, especially with people that I work with, even myself. And it's like, I can't change it. Just because you have psychic predictions or vision doesn't mean you can always change it or delay it. But you have it there to guide you, just to prove the magic and the mystery. And to help you cope or do what you need to do. But people right now in the world are trying to think they can change things. There's certain things you can't change. You're only here to experience them. You can't, there's certain things you just can't change, and we know that. So there's acceptance. So it's what is that that serenity prayer? Give me I think I put it in the chat one time. Anyway, I know the serenity is accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can. Serenity, accept the things I can't. But anyway, to know the difference. If you know it, put it in the chat. Anyway, so that's kind of the thing is right now it's like a lot of people spend and we all do this individually. I did this recently. I had Saturn going through my 6th house. We always resist. That's the ego. Push. I don't want to do that. That's painful. Oh, I don't want to go through that. I don't know. I don't want to do that. And then all of a sudden you get the hang of it. You're like, okay, let me make the best. This is what's happening. And then you have a learning lesson or skill set that comes out of this. So you got to look and say, okay, there's certain things I can't change. That's the earth game. I signed up for this. I don't know why, but on some level, soul level, spiritually, whatever you want to call it, whatever your belief system is around that. And hopefully it's not a depowering and victimizing one. Now, how do I make the best of this? What am I meant to create and help, call to service and inspire? All these systems have to be overhauled to some degree to hold the new plan, this new world order. And now some people don't understand that. They're like, oh, Michelle, I was on a podcast. Someone said I was racist. That was one thing. And I'm a government operative. I love that. I was asked to work for the government as a psychic medium and channel and channel of healing energy by Bush's doctor, and because he was on the Surgeon General board in 1995. And I declined, guys, because guess what? I don't really care about that stuff. I mean, I've been asked to do so many things that would have propelled me. But it's like, no, I don't care how much money or how much acclaim. It just is not my thing. But I can understand why other people may want to do it, or remote view for the government. I got asked. I was like, no, not my thing. I kind of like my little low key life. But anyway, so it's like we resist on an ego level because we don't want to do the work. We don't. It's an effort. There's fear. So you got to move past that. But the way things get created, the way we update and up level is through us, our inner software. All the systems we have, because people branched out, these types of visionaries, first and second wave visionary, had a vision, had a calling. They created this system and this art and this music and this, and that created what we have now. It's not bad. It's not wrong. But it's an old model, an old game. So you have to start asking yourself, what's the new model and what am I going to do in it? And it could be just very quiet for you. It could be just very individual. You could find yourself stepping away from certain situations, relationships, or circumstances, and going, well, I don't know. I don't really find meaning in that anymore. Or that's not charging me up. That's not inspiring. Or I don't have time anymore to do that. There's this kind of falling away of certain things, because you want more of the currency. This is where things like the soul alignment meditation come in. And again, I'll keep repeating this. It's on my Patreon, but also you can download it for free on my website, soulplayground.org. It's tuning to this other, more of you than just the denser physical you, this lower mind, beta consciousness. Got to get in through the alpha theta. So all these kinds of systems, all this technology, all this science, all this wisdom, all this theosophical information, spiritualism, all these, it's kind of all coming together. There's common threads or themes. You have to quiet down. Everyone knows it. It's written, it's said. Every guest comes on here. You got to pull back and observe. You got to get in the witness state, the detached observer. You got to slow down and tune in. You got to pause. However you want to put it, because in that pause is a frequency shift where you're getting into the expanded frequency of you, the awareness of awareness. You're getting out of the noise. You're getting into your soul song. You're getting out of the distortion and dissonance. You're getting into resonance. You're getting out of the extremes of polarity and contrast into the harmonizing principle, so you can have more inner peace and calm and receive the messages of what you're meant to do. And that's more and more of this, if you want to call it, game on earth. Oh, wisdom to know the difference. Thank you, Bailey. Wisdom to know the difference. Okay. So how are things changing? We're going to have, to some degree, more generalized options. Some things are shrinking in for a certain time period where there's going to be certain restrictions. That because we're changing our concept of what money is, what exchange is, what's currency, what's valuable, our values are changing. And you're going to find things moving, even though you're going to have maybe more space and it seems like more pausing, but more happening in shorter periods of time. That's also Uranus and Gemini. And things going more to digital or internet or exchange of ideas coming together. So there's a lot more opening of that third wave of visionaries that creates that third wave. A lot of people are lost. I was talking to a friend of mine and we're like, well, we're in the middle. We're not true middle. It's like not feeling, I'm not feeling, fighting and judging and all this virtue signaling, or not feeling, if you're political party to the left or to the right, those concepts are so old. They're because when you only have two things of anything, it's stuck energy. Anybody knows this. When you're in a debate with someone, let's say you have a difference of opinion with someone, and we do this with ourselves too, or you're having a debate, discussion. Maybe it's an argument. Maybe it's a fight. Maybe you're really screaming and yelling at each other and no one's listening. That's what's happening right now in the earth plane, in the world. They're stuck. Each person's stuck in their corner. That's not where the answers come from. They don't come individually for us that way. When we can't decide what to do, always a third way comes out. The purple connects us into Saint Germain. It connects us into the violet flame. The purple is the beginning of spirit. So we go from that indigo energy, sixth chakra, in through the violet flame or the purple amethyst energy. And then when you expand more, you get into the magenta realm, that when you go through the ninth chakra, that's the ascension point. So eighth chakra, higher, lower self, you're still in that duality, but then you start the ninth chakra, there's a completion, then you start ascending into your soul groups and humanity, or in through humanity and your soul groups. And so when you get in that 10th, 11th, 12th, those dimensions and those chakras, they correspond, you're connecting in to the magenta realm. Well, the magenta realm brings in the base chakra, right? It's centering and grounding chakras, the heart chakra, and it brings in that spirit center, right? So we're going to be operating, a lot of us, especially third wave visionaries, are going to be operating more from that, what we call the magenta realm, coming from group consciousness. And it's not giving everything up for the group, but it's coming together with your individual strengths, your soul gifts, that you've individuated enough to join with others in connecting, that contact communication, that connection and collaboration. So more and more collaborative events and adventures are going to be happening, where you're going to be paired with people. Some of you, you'll just find yourself drawn to certain people, or certain people come in your life, or certain groups. And you may stay with them for a while or forever, or just hop around, but you'll find yourself doing more within small groups and communities, because you're going to be able to do more energetically, vibrationally. You're strengthening your signal and making the signal of the new emerging consciousness and those resonant frequencies, it's making them stronger. And that's affecting the monetaries. It's affecting the algorithm, not just on YouTube or social media, but in the world. The algorithm is being affected. Now, you want to create your own algorithm. You want to, whatever you focus on, create your algorithm of what you're drawing in. So you want to make sure you're drawing in more support, more insight, more understanding, more fun, whatever, what's more healing, whatever you're needing. That's what you need to be focusing on, not the noise. You don't want your algorithm to have a lot of noise. That jams up your bandwidth. And guess what happens when you have too much on your bandwidth? Distortion and dissonance. Your signal isn't clear. What you're broadcasting as electromagnetic field, what your signal gets jammed up, it gets distorted, and you don't hear your own signaling. And when I say hear, I mean also feel it. You are missing your messaging, your guidance, your signal, how you're being guided, or what you want to do or meant to do, or getting that right, whatever it is. It could be the right practitioner or healer, or the right medicine, the right thing to eat or do, or call or text, or whatever it is for you individually. If there's too much, jammed up, too much stuff coming in the bandwidth, it's like the cell phone tower goes out. You lose the you lose the signal. You got got to shut some browser windows, right? So it's all the same. It's just these reference points. So you got to get out of the noise. You got to find ways to clear the bandwidth, get rid of some stuff that you're taking in that's jamming you up, so you can hear and see and feel the clearest signal of where you're being guided. The ping. If people are starting to get pings of where to go and what to do, and you got to follow through on it. That's the next step. You can't just think about it, write it, or talk about it. You got to now take the action. that the action, the consistent action, right? Behavior changes, the consistency, what you follow through up, the action is what anchors in the frequency. You have to take, it's not enough to think about it or tap into it. On the earth plane, you have to do something tangible. You have to write it. You have to draw it. You have to post it. You have to put it in some kind of form. Now, that form can be a habit or behavior or a schedule or a routine, or it could be something you're doing or creating, right? It could be, all of that, actually. But you can't just think about it. You have to anchor it by some type of action in the physical plane. And then you'll know that. Now, some of the things you might do, it might be difficult. You might go, I can't do this, or this isn't. You have to follow through. If you've gotten guidance to do something, and then you stop because it's okay, this is too challenging. It's going to be challenging. That's what I'm here to tell you. It's going to be challenging because the old you isn't formatted for it. Right? The old aspect of you, the old avatar of you, but the new avatar of you that's being created right now will find the way. If something's difficult right now in your life and you've gotten a message or you got a reading or something from me or someone else, or you had this, you need to take action, because the thing is, that's the alignment. You can't get the miracle if you don't align to it. You can't get the aha, the grace, the Holy Ghost, or whatever you want to, Holy Spirit, the aha. You can't get that if you don't put yourself in alignment. And if you think it's going to be easy, it's not in the beginning. I can tell you that 5,000%. When Saturn was going through my sixth house, I was like, oh my God, I can't do this. I can't do anymore. I can't channel this. I can't anchor. I can't, it's like, and one of my assistants that does all my bill, it was gone for like a month. I had all this extra work on me. And I'm like, I'm going to go nuts. Am I going to have a breakdown? What's going to happen? But then I'm like, no, Michelle, just do one thing. Just follow up, just do it. You don't get what you can't handle, but your ego will trick you and say, I can't do this, or this is having a bad effect on myself, or this person or that person. Yes, it's going to have that in the beginning. But if you don't knuckle through that part and get the support, you're not going to be aligned to your solution. My avatar me changed so much from going through that. I can't even believe how much I'm doing and accomplishing right now, and creating, and the connections I'm making, and the things that are opening. Because now my foundation is different. My point of reference, my viewpoint, is different. My lens expanded. I learned some things. I grew. Some things I wasn't very good at, I learned how to do it better. The skill set came up. It allowed me to connect into new soul gifts. So you have to trust that. But I'm telling you, if you're thinking that your changes are going to come easy, no, because your next level is in the place of discomfort, not comfort. Comfort is what we already know, but you find ways to get comfortable in the discomfort. Where's my respite? What aligns me? What nurtures me? What inspires me? Sometimes you need more sleep, sometimes this, whatever it is. But the change, like when you go through growing pains, it's a little painful. You do something new, it's a little painful, or you're a little nervous, anxiety, a little scared. Can I do this job? Can I show up? So let me underscore, if you've gotten messages of something you need to do and you started it, and then you're like, oh, this is too uncomfortable, I don't like what's happening, you need to find a way to power through it. And power, I mean get into the power zone, your empowerment, through getting into the frequency of you, the new emerging conscious of you, and let that part lead you through the difficulty. Because if you stop now or try to go back, you're going to be out of alignment, and you're going to miss the help, the support, the miracle that you've been aligning to through your higher self. And that's how you get through something like, oh my God, I didn't think I could do that. Oh my God, I can't believe that this is what happened, or now I'm free. So get out of your way. This is the biggest thing I see, you guys. Oh my God, I get it. I understand it. But you have to have a protocol. You have to have a way where you see how your stubborn ego is getting in the way. As a therapist, I'm not saying get rid of the ego, but I go, you've got to see how your ego is imagining how something should be, because that's going to block you from exactly what you want. The money, the inspiration, the health, the help is going to block you when on an ego level you say, this is too difficult, I can't do this. That's what I'm saying. Power of prayer, energy work, whatever. It happens in different ways for different people. What gives you the sustenance to be able to do something, to be able to make something happen and to get through it? Because that is part of it. Like a video game, that's part of the earth game. There's these levels, and there's always a challenge. There's always an obstacle. That's why, what was it? Joseph Campbell, it's the hero's journey. It's in the tarot. The tarot is the hero's journey. It's the journey. You go through these obstacles, you get through them, you learn these things, these skill sets, you have these revealings of the truth of who you are and your gifts, you learn something. Our whole life, that's the archetypal imagery, that's the archetypal passage. Our whole life is based on this. So the more you can kind of get that, you can get in a level, what we call the game sphere, you can get in a level on the soul playground, that's the earth plane, where it doesn't have to be as difficult because you've already accepted the difficulty and surrendered to your own higher self and soul plan, right? So yeah, let me know if this is resonating for you in the chat, if you're getting that, if that's making sense for you, because the thing is, people look for easy, and by the way, unfortunately, the more skilled you are, the more training, the more socialization, the more you're going to have a very recalcitrant, strong ego that can fool you of why you're doing something. This is not the time to hope and pray and go, well, I guess everything's going to be okay, or somehow I'll make it, or sometime. No, you're getting right now in your life, you're getting direct messaging of what you need to do. Now you need to ask yourself, why am I not doing this? Or how can I get help or support to do this? That's the next key. So when these changes happen mentally, emotionally, financially, on the material plane, when the money game starts changing, eventually we're not going to have this thing called the stock market in the way that we know it. The banking will change. The federal government will be changing. The main government in all countries will be changing. So what we've relied on is not going to be there in the way that we've known it in the past, that comfort zone. Even if we don't like it, it's familiar. Even though it's pinchy to us, it's too tight. So that's changing. So you have to look and see, how can I connect into this energy of change, of transformation, of transition, and help myself, support myself through it. And for some of you, you're supporting others through it. And I will tell you, alignment is key. You have to, that's why I did the alignment meditation. You have to align in through the higher self and soul to get into that undifferentiated, less filtered energy, cosmic energy, spiritual energy, the infinite creative intelligence, not just of the universe, but the all that is. To get into that guidance system, you have to begin pausing and then following through on the messaging you're getting. All right, beautiful soul lights. I hope this brought some insight and inspiration. Let me know. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments. Please subscribe here and also all the podcast platforms. Share this conversation and keep this conversation going. And most importantly, join the conversation. I'll see you here next Wednesday, 12 p.m. Pacific time. If you have questions or comments, email me, awakeningspodcast@gmail.com or info@soulplayground.life with your questions, your comments, or topic suggestions or guest suggestions. I'd love to hear you. I'd love you to join the conversation. I love today. Thank you, Sue and Bailey, and thank you all in the chat. And thank you all that have been so supportive in sharing your own insights and listening to this live stream and podcast for as long as you have. I feel you. I psychically see you. I appreciate you. And I appreciate what you contribute to the conversation.
Awakenings broadcasts every Wednesday, 12 p.m. Pacific Time. Archive shows available on iTunes. For continued awakened conversations and insights, join the Awakenings group on Facebook. And check out Michelle's blog at soulplayground.com. And keep awake.